Hey guys, so in this video we're going to be building a one-page restaurant website for a company called Soul Food Barbecue. And as you can see, we have a nice custom menu here. It goes down to different sections in our website. This full thing is going to be a one-page website, and it's just meant to flow with just the information you need, and that's it. So we're not going over different pages, and it's just a nice simple look, but it has some pretty unique features. I'm going to be hosting this thing in a sandbox with Pantheon.io, and I'll drop a link in the description for this, but I'll show you some of the features. So we have this custom menu up here, just really nice look of it. It has a nice video background, but if you go down to mobile version, it's a nice little picture. We have a few testimonials here from some famous chefs and what they said. We just made these up, but you could do something like that. We have a nice menu, limited menu, but has a nice effect here. You get a bigger picture with a little description of what's in here. We could change these up and put as many in as we wanted or as few. And it was kind of in between doing an accordion and this, but I like the look of this quite a bit. Gives you just a good bite-sized look at what's in here. We have our story, so a nice little picture here, and I'll drop the links to all these pictures. I just got them from Pexels, which is a free open source picture library. We have a little bio here, and then we have a locate us section. We have a number, address, and email, and then we have just a little Google Maps image here that shows barbecue restaurants, or you would put your own barbecue restaurant in. As you'll notice, we have no header at all except this custom one we made. We are going to have to play around with that because it's not as easy. If you can see, it has a Soul Food Barbecue, but it's a link that's dead or you can't see it. So, and then it also doesn't have a footer because just a nice clean look. All this is here anyway, so no need for a footer. You could add social media buttons up here or something like that, and you would probably want to if this was your website. But for now, we're just going to do this nice minimal website. We'll try and get this done pretty quick. So I'm using Pantheon.io. You can create a new site. You have 2 sandboxes available. So this is my original homepage, and then we'll deploy WordPress on it. So I'm going to skip this, and I don't think it's necessarily needed because it's just going to be a little bit different on each website, but all you're going to do is go through the one-click installation on WordPress or whatever hosting service you're using, and I'll see you on the other side on the dashboard. Okay, so we're here at our site admin on the first page. We're just going to do English for the install for WordPress. We're going to call this Soul Food Barbecue, and I'm just going to give it a username and password. Remember your password. If it's weak, you're going to want to confirm it, and then we'll install WordPress, and it'll just take a second. And then we'll log in and we'll do our password, username and password, and this is our dashboard. So a few things that we're going to do right off the bat is we're going to install a theme. Let's look at it real quick. So this is what it looks like right now, and this is what we want it to look like. So quite a bit different, but we are going to change that. So we're going to go to Appearance, Themes. We're going to do Add New Theme, and we're going to use a free theme called Ocean WP. And this is probably the best one and most popular out there. It has a lot of great features. So that one's activated. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to plugins. If you have any plugins here, you can either keep them or delete them. I'm going to delete all these because I don't need them. And I'm going to do Add New. And we're going to use Elementor, which is a page builder. And I'm going to install Elementor Page Builder. I'm going to install Essential Add-ons for Elementor, Premium Add-ons for Elementor. And those are just going to give us some extra ones that come with the paid version of this. They're not quite the same. Some of them are, but they just give us a few different ones. We're not even going to use many of them, but at least you'll get an idea of what they are. So you can use them. I'm going to select them all, and I'm going to activate them all. I'm also going to get this theme. This theme recommends the following plugins: Ocean Extra, and it just adds a few extra things inside the theme. And now that we've installed it, we can activate that one as well. So you can click skip setup on all these. We don't really need any of this. So let's get rid of all this, and let's go back and look at our site. So now we have a completely different site here. Comes with new text. We're going to get rid of the blog, though on your site you could use a blog, but we're not going to use it for this. We're also going to get rid of this footer down here. We're going to get rid of this header, or we're going to crunch it up towards the top, or we're just going to get rid of all this. To start off with, we're going to go to pages, and since we have that home page, what we're going to do is we're just going to delete these. We don't need these filler pages. Apply to all, and then we're going to add a new page, and this is just going to be the home page is what we're going to call it. And a few things we're going to do is we're going to do content layout full width. That's going to make sure we don't have any sidebars like this on here, and it's going to let Elementor use the entire page. So we're going to do full width for content, and we're going to disable any margins, and we're going to get rid of the page title, and we'll look at what that looks like. So publish. If we refresh this page, it looks the same. So we'll have to go to home, and this just gives us an empty page, but we want the entire home page to be at this instead of this /home. So what we'll do is we'll go to settings, and we'll go to reading, and we'll just do a static home page, and we'll select home, and we'll save changes. And when we refresh this, it will be our standard page here. Okay, and then the other thing we'll want to do, just in case you have any other pages, we'll click permalinks, and we'll do post name. That way you don't get any weird kind of post with numbers and things in them. It's just a standard page. So save changes. Okay, so that looks great. And then there's a few extra things we're going to do. We're going to go to the appearance, which is how you edit your theme, and we're going to click customize. So now we're editing how all of this looks. So we'll go to site identity, Soul Food Barbecue, #1 barbecue on the East Coast will be our title up here. #1 barbecue on the East Coast looks great. We don't really need to change anything else except for the top bar. So we have this top bar here. We don't want that. So we'll do general, enable top bar. Nope. We'll take out footer widgets, enable footer widgets. Nope. So it'll get rid of this big section here. We'll do footer bottom, enable footer bottom. Nope. And then we have our header options. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a minimal, or we're going to do a transparent style. We're going to give it a height of 0. We're going to get rid of our header border bottom. And we're going to give background color, clear, background color for that, fully opaque. So we'll give everything that, and then this we'll do completely opaque as well. Header logo, we'll make this white, make it opaque completely, and there we go. So we should have nothing on our page at all anymore, which is exactly how this one is. So now we can go back to our pages, and this is where we're going to start to edit with Elementor. So this is going to give us our drag and drop capabilities. So let's edit with Elementor. So it's going to give us this fresh page, and it's pretty capable for drag and drop. You can do anything needed. Basic and general are the only things that Elementor comes with. When we added the extras, the essential add-ons, we added all these other capabilities. The difference being they update at different times. So if you're going to continually be adding new options to your website, you might want to just pay for the premium Elementor, although this version is free and these add-ons are free. And if you don't plan on adding a lot, you just want to make a static page that you update every quarter maybe, then this would definitely be the way to go because it's all free. So we'll start here. We'll make a new section. You can select what you want it to look like. We want a full section here with our video. And when you're back at this page and you have a section here, if you click this middle button, it brings you to any kind of settings for style that you need. You can exit out of it, you can duplicate, you can also right click on this and it gives you more options. So you'll see that as we go through, we can do that. For this one, I want to control the layout. I want to stretch it all the way to the edge, and I want to give it a height of fit to screen. So this is going to take up the whole screen. If you want to preview it, you can open it up like this. And then you can also click here and look at different mobile or versions of it for mobile or desktop. Tablet's going to be pretty much the same as desktop, so we won't worry about that, but we will make it mobile responsive. Okay, so next we want to put it in our YouTube video, and I'm just going to grab this link here. But I looked up a barbecue video on YouTube, so I'm going to put this in for our video. And since this is starting at the beginning, I want to start at 666 and I want to end at 676. So I want 10 seconds of video going on loop for this whole thing. So this is going to give us this nice background. In this one, as you can see, it's a little bit dimmed, which I really like, gives it that nice look instead of being too bright. So what we're going to do here before we do anything is give it that overlay. And we want a classic, and we want the color, and I'll put this in the description as well. We want this color for the overlay. So it gives us a nice bluish color over it and just dulls it down just a little bit so we'll be able to see our text on top of it. I picked a 4K video for this, though you certainly don't have to. 4K does mean that it's going to load a little bit slower, so if somebody has a poor internet connection and it doesn't load, we want to make sure we take care of the fallback. So if the video does not load, we want to make sure that we don't just have a blank there. So I'm going to put in my files for this. I'm going to drag all these files in, but what we want is this one. And this is our fallback image in case it doesn't work. And also a video background does not work on mobile. So when we're on mobile, this video background will show up. So let's update it. Updating here is what I didn't do, but updating is what saves this. So if we go back to our site, you can see we have this image that is the fallback image before this loads. And then this will load. This will disappear or it won't be available on your site, so I wouldn't worry about that. But all that looks fine. The video doesn't matter on the mobile one if it doesn't show up, because it never will. So we have our home page now, and we need to add our title, and we need to add this little section, and we need to add this little divider here. So let's put if at any point you need to go back to your settings, you push this button. If you need to exit back to the dashboard, you click here. And all you would do is you just go to your page and select Edit with Elementor again. So we're going to pull in a heading, and we're going to say Soul Food Barbecue. We're going to center this, and all of our other typography is in this style. So if you want to change colors, if you want to change anything like that, it's all in here. We're going to give it a nice white color, and then we're going to give this a caveat font, that nice cursive looking font, and we'll give it a size of about 100. That looks nice. Let's do 110. And we want to transform it all to uppercase. So nice bold look there. Now we'll give another heading underneath it, and we'll say the #1 rated barbecue joint on the East Coast by Food Network. This is an award-winning restaurant. So we're going to do the same thing here. Going to center it, and then we will give it a text color of our orange, which is F4AB00, and that's just a really nice orange color that kind of brings out the barbecue style. So we'll go to typography. We'll make it just a little bit bigger here, and we'll keep the font. It's a nice block font, so we'll just keep that the same. And let's see how that looks on our site. Perfect. Our image loads before the video, and then our video will load. If our video fails to load, it'll bring that back, but this looks pretty good. And then what we're going to do for our headers is we're just going to add an intersection up there. And what we can do here is go to Advanced, and we'll give this a margin. And what this is going to do is this is going to push our margins around. As you can see, it's pushing it down the page. What we want to do is push this up the page. So we're just going to give this 350, which pushes it down the page, but we want to do negative. So this pushes it back up the page, and what we'll do here is put a heading, and we'll give this the heading of food menu. We'll center it. We'll go to the link, and what we'll do this here, but do a pound menu, and we'll assign a menu anchor when we do the menu next. Right here, when we do the menu, we'll add that in. We'll add an anchor menu to this, so when you push this button, it smooth scrolls down to menu. But for now, all we're going to put is menu in there, and you'll see why when we do this next. And then we'll do style. We'll give it the same orange color, and we'll give it the same caveat. And let's bump this up to, let's do 40. And then a neat trick on all of these is you can take them and you can duplicate them. And then we'll delete this one. So now we have our 3 menu options. We'll do food menu, and this is our story. And you can play with the margins here too. You can push it up or down wherever it falls on your page. We'll do story for our link. And for this one, we will do contact. And in our link, we'll do contact. So there we go. We finished our landing page here that people see. And these won't go to anything because we don't have those links put in our menu yet, but you can see it's doing it in the address bar. So Those will work when we finally get to it. It's just right now they don't. When I finish a section on these, I generally try to check the mobile version of it just to see what it looks like. I don't really like that, so what we'll do here is we'll bring this Soul Food Barbecue down, and we'll make this a little bit smaller too. So you just have to kind of see what works for you. Then we'll take this entire thing, we'll go to advance, and it tells you which one you're on. So whatever's blue is if you're on mobile or desktop. And we'll just give some padding of about 50 to the top. We'll give a padding of 50 to the bottom. And let's do 70. That looks about right. And we'll see what it looks like. There we go. We don't really need our navigation links because we're just going to be scrolling like normal, but that looks pretty good. And this doesn't change anything else. The next thing we need to do is add this little pyramid shape to it that kind of chops everything up a little bit. So we'll go up to the top here, go to layout, or go to style, and do shape divider. And this shape divider is going to be on the bottom. We're going to give it pyramids. Yep. And we're going to flip the pyramids. We're going to invert. And we'll just give it a height of, I don't know, 100 would probably be okay. And I'm going to change the color of it to something a little bit different, %333. Oops. Give it that nice light gray look to it that we have in our other page, and then we'll work on our reviews here. So in here we know that we're going to need 3 sections, so we'll put 3 sections in here, and we know we're going to keep this entire color, so we're going to stretch this, and we're going to give it the same background color as this. So we'll go to style, we'll go to background color %EEE or $EEE, and we'll start working on this. So we have a few different things we can do for this, but I have 5 stars and then this text. So we will add star rating in here, and we'll push them to the middle. And the other thing I want to do is I want to change the color to our orange color. It's a little bit different, so I just want to make it match. And then I have a great way to do these so it doesn't take a long time. And then we'll come in here and we'll add a testimonial. These are really great, sets it up perfectly. In the middle, do style, image. I don't want the image. Oh, here we go. Delete. So now we don't have the image. You just want that in there. For this, we want to do Gordon Ramsay. And we want to say that he's a chef / food critic. That looks pretty good. For the typography, we want that text to say about that. We want the name, though, to be the same orange color, and that looks great. So we have that, and we need to change his content. I'm just going to copy it. Oops. Best barbecue joint I have eaten at, period. The food and staff were a spectacular combo. And then what we'll do here, since these are going to be close, is we're just going to duplicate, because we want to keep all of our formatting all the same, and we'll just delete these. So now we have everything that's the same, and all we have to do is change the content that's inside, but nothing else changes. Like the formatting, it's all different. So we know this is going to be Bobby Flay, and he's a chef slash restaurant owner. Perfect. It centers it for us, and then we'll do Ree Drummond's. I'm just making this stuff up, but you would put actual customer testimonials in here. So she's a chef slash Food Network star. So this gives us, it's a little crunched up. We want to add a little bit of padding on the top and bottom. So you click the middle button, go to advanced, and we'll unclick this. If you do not unlink that, it's going to do all of them the same, which means it'll push it in on the sides too. So we'll unlink and we'll give, I don't know, 40 or 30 pixels on the top and 30 on the bottom. That looks about right. Now let's do 40 on the bottom. That looks pretty good. And we'll take a look at our site. Looks great. So now we have our testimonials here. They kind of pop. I think my internet's a little slow. So we have this nice little sectional down here that breaks it up a little bit, gives us something different. And the next thing I want to do, well, we'll start our next section, but we'll make sure our mobile version looks good. I think that looks great. I don't like the way this looks, so on the mobile version, I'm going to do some padding on the bottom of this. Oops, not 1,000. I think we can do about 200. And we'll do 150 on the top. There we go. So now we still have our rack of ribs, and you can see a rating down here, so it just leads you to keep moving down the page. So that looks great. Gives a little bit of flow to it. So let's update that, go back to our desktop version, and we'll add our menu. So we want a section here, full section, and again, we want to stretch it, and we want to give it a color of a dark gray, percent or number sign 333. We want to give a heading. We want our heading in the middle, and we want it to say menu. We're going to take our orange color and add it here, and we're going to change the typography to caveat, and we're going to make it a little bit bigger. So we also want to transform it to uppercase, make it look nicer, and we'll make it, let's do 100 pixels. In this one, we have a little line underneath, so we'll add that line. It is called a divider, and it's right here, so we'll add it right underneath this. We'll put it in the center. We'll give it a width of whatever looks nice. 10 looks pretty good. We'll bump the weight of it up to 3, let's do 4, and we'll give it the same orange color. So you guys can see this is pretty easy stuff. You just have to play around with it. At first it's a little bit awkward, but you get the hang of it and you start to just play around with it and see what looks good. It's mostly drag and drop, so it works pretty well. If you have the time to sit down and kind of learn the elements and what they do, it's great. So we have our menu, and now underneath our menu is where we're going to have this, nice slider here that shows our different menu options. So let's type in accordion. And this is going to be an EA image accordion, and that comes from the advanced Elementor options. and looks like this. So this is one that you cannot get with just the standard Elementor package, but since the plugin is free, it doesn't really matter and it works out well. So let's start here. It's really great. You just move through it. You can give it a height. I think we did ours as, let's see, gave it a height of 600. So it makes it a little bit taller. And that's really all we're going to change. And then we're just going to change the content in here. So instead of accordion item title, this is going to be our kebab picture. Insert media, super easy. And this is going to be party size kebab platter. And our content goes here. So super easy. As you can see, pulls it right in, and now we're on to the next one. So this is going to be our burger, and we're going to name this double patty burger. Oops. And large double patty. We'll give this one the chicken. This will be an individual barbecue chicken basket. And got a little write-up on the chicken. We're a award-winning restaurant, so we don't put our prices on here. We just assume you'll know it'll be expensive. But you could put things in here. You could put a menu option. So it's limitless what you can do. If you do want to write some kind of code in here, you can go to text and create a section of HTML code in here, but we're not going to code for any of this, so it doesn't really matter. So this wraps up our menu section. So now we have all this, just like our other one. We'll update it, and then we'll take a look at the mobile version. And on our hover, same thing here. Looks great. You can see the menu. I really like the look of that, actually. I would like to add a little bit of padding down at the bottom. I think it's too close. So we'll add 50 pixels down at the bottom, just to split it up a little bit. And then we'll need a menu anchor here. So this is what's going to pull us in, and we'll just type in menu here. So this is what links to these up here. So now when we click food menu, it's going to bring us down to here. And we'll do that now. So we'll refresh. We don't want it to go there. So we'll click food menu, and now it's going to bring us down to the menu. We have a button to go up here. It looks great. So now we have this video playing in the background. We have our menu. Works great. Tells people a little bit about the history, or about what they're getting for their meals. And we're going to add our next section, which is going to be our story. So what we're going to do here, since we already have this section, and we know we need this heading, and we know we need a color back here, what we'll do here is we'll right click here and hit duplicate. And this is going to give us an exact section again. We know this is going to be about, so let's type in about here. This is going to be our story. Actually, I think our anchor was actually story. So we want to put the correct anchor in there that we assigned up here. That's pretty important. So it's story there. So we definitely want to make sure that's correct. And then what you can do here is just right click here and hit delete. Since we have this, now we have our anchor, our story, and we can do image box. underneath this, and then we're going to go push this button, and this is going to put our image off to the side. And then we have a few things we're going to do. We're going to choose our image, which is going to be, where is this? We got to add this one. This is our owners here. And then we're going to add this text that we have on our original site. And what we'll do is change this afterwards. So we'll go through to style. We'll do width. And I'm going to give it 100 width. So this is going to give it a nice section here. So this takes up half the page and this takes up half the page. We'll do a little bit of spacing in between. Let's do 35. And then we'll do content. Give this a little bit of spacing, and we'll do alignment middle. So that looks really good. We'll center it. So now we have a little bit there. We know we want our orange color here. So you just have to play around with some of this stuff. Really, it's just a matter of going through and playing around and seeing what you like in it. But after that, it's fairly easy to grasp, and I don't think that anybody really would have a problem if you have the time to sit down and look at it. Again, it's all about trying to see what looks best for your machine, for your website, for the content that you have. Our barbecue stuff is going to be a little bit of grays and oranges and things like that for smoke and fire. So it's going to be different depending on what your website is about. But for this one, it just works well, and it's really easy to play around with different colors. Like I said, we could do this, and we know that orange works well. We could do a nice little dull red color. We could do something blue or pink or anything in here. So you just have to play around with it in here. Oops. We have our orange color. We need to add that. We also want to make this a little bit bigger, but we are going to keep the same color. We're just going to make this just a little bit bigger. We need to change this to soul food barbecue story. Looks great. Let's see, and then the other thing we want to do is we want to change the color of the background. We'll make it a little bit lighter, so we'll do, let's see. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Breaks it up just a little bit, but we will have to change this. Let me see here what I did on ours. You can also go, if you're looking at any of these, since this is the page we know, we can right click here and click inspect and go to elements, and we know that we want this whole section, so we can look at the color, and we know it's 7A, 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 so we can grab that. Don't worry if you don't know what any of that stuff is. Just pick a color that works really well. This one I thought worked really well. It just so happens to be the same color as our text. So we'll go back to our text, content, and change the, oops, that's the title. We'll change the color of this to something a little bit darker, make it stand out a little bit more, and there we go. Then we'll go back and check our mobile version. Our story is a little bit big, so for the title, we'll bring that size down a little bit. This is our menu anchor, so we'll just ignore that for now. Maybe we want to make this just a little bit wider. And I think we want to make this a little bit wider here too. We'll go with 40, just so it takes up more of it. But otherwise, that looks great. So we'll go ahead and update that. And the next section we have, we'll need to duplicate this again and click locate us. In this one, we are going to give a background color of EEE. Give it just a nice little gray here, same as this, but breaks it up. And we'll delete this. And we'll add in change our menu anchor. This will be contact. So now we can get to it through our link. And down here, we're going to add an intersection, which is going to give us two side by side. And then the one on the right, we'll add Google Maps. In here, we'll add barbecue, and this will find barbecue near you, and we'll give this height let's do a little bit bigger here. So now you can, we don't want to prevent scroll. We'll update it and we'll take a look at it. So I think this is looking really great. We could add maybe a little more padding here, but once our video loads, it looks pretty good. Like I said, if you want to use a lower quality YouTube video, it'll load a lot quicker. So I think that's part of our problem. We have our story here, we have contact us, and now we can kind of scroll around and we can see, we can get directions easier if we can scroll around like that. And then the next thing we need is this information here. So on this side, we'll add an icon list is what's going to go in here. List item 1, we're going to do our phone number 610-674, space here, and then we'll do 5662. Up here for our icon, we want a phone. That looks pretty good. Here we want a map marker, and we want to say 1, 2, 3, 4 Deer Run Lane, Roanoke, VA. I'm just picking a random place there. And then for this one, we want an envelope for our, let's do contact@soulfood.com or whatever your email is, and then we'll just give this an envelope icon. So it looks pretty good there. Looks pretty bad, but we'll style this. We'll do a larger space between of 50. We'll go ahead and center it, and then we want to put a divider in. So that looks pretty good. Maybe we don't want the divider to go all the way. So we'll go out like this. We'll give the divider this, not that color, our orange color. So that looks pretty good. We'll give our icon the same color. We'll give the size of the icon a pretty big boost here. Take the text, and we'll take the text indent and push it away from the icons. Let's do 35. And we'll just bump the text up a little bit. So now we can now we have this right in the middle. Looks a lot nicer to look at. We'll update it, take a look at it. There we go. So now we have our phone number, our address, we have our little map here. We have no header down here, we have no header up here, but we can smooth scroll to all of our sections. So that's how you make a custom header if you don't want to use the one. We still do have our thing up here, but it's transparent. You can't see it, so you can't even see it on hover. So it doesn't look bad. And even if you do click this by accident, it just takes you back to the main site, so it's not that big of a deal. So hope you guys liked. That was a quick intro to Elementor and some of the capabilities that it has. And like I said, you can really change things around. If you do want to have another section down here or a footer, you would just have to keep the same footer that we deleted in the beginning. But I kind of like how this is just a very minimalistic site. It gets the point across. You don't spend too much time on it. You see what we have to offer. You see a little background on us, and you could put little tabs back here or a timeline and things like that. But for this, I just wanted to show layout options and some of the different things you could do quickly with Elementor. So hope you guys like. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment if you liked it, and thanks for watching.